Hey guys, thought I'd give you a bit of a update on some of the new gear I've got. I've gotten some new gear recently. I've had the opportunity to test it out, so now I'll give you guys a bit of a video on what I've got. So one of the new pieces of gear I've had, because on the trip when we went to Sundown I broke my tent, and it's a 11-year-old tent, so it's been around for a while, been used plenty of times, but it's kind of given me an opportunity to upgrade what my tent is. So I've gone and gotten a new tent. This is a Roman Cradle one-person tent. It packs up smaller, as you guys can see in the video. Actually, not that you guys have seen what my other tent packed up to, but it does pack up smaller than the previous tent I was using, and it's a kilo lighter. So that'll be great when I'm backpacking or hiking or doing stuff like that. But that's one of my cool new pieces of gear. The next cool new piece of gear I got, that'll stay, is another piece of Alton gear. I quite enjoy their gear. It's good gear. I've got their insulated air mattress with a pump bag that I've put inside this bag as well. It didn't come inside the bag, it was separate, but I've managed to fit it inside as well. And then the, I suppose you can say, third and fourth piece of gear, I haven't got the extra one out here, but I got a matching set of their ultralight top quilt and their ultralight underquilt. So I've tested the ultralight top quilt and underquilt on my hammock. It got down to 10 degrees. I had both of them on and I was really toasty. I was actually sweating inside of it. Just sleeping in light clothes. I got out during the night time because I was actually too hot to sleep in it, which was really good because I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to get cold when I'm sleeping with the combined set. Tested out these three together over this last weekend just gone past. It got down to 3 degrees and I was still nice and toasty just using these, and I slept in like a singlet and shorts, which is kind of what I was sleeping in when I was in the hammock anyways. But these are really cool. This is a down sleeping quilt, so it packs up really small, but it's actually quite a big quilt. It's plenty big enough for myself. So I'll put that back in the bag for now. We've got our ultralight sleeping mat as well. So this mat is 1/2 kilo. My previous sleeping mat was 2 kilos, so that's a fair bit of weight dropped when I'm backpacking. And this top quilt is, does it say? It doesn't say how heavy it is, but it was only about 3/4 kilo, 750 grams or less, or thereabouts. So that's nice and light. It's about the same weight and about the same size packed up as my summer sleeping bag. This is really cool. I've got summer and winter sleeping bags about the same size. This isn't a bag, it's a quilt, but I use the bag as a quilt anyways. Yeah, so I'll show you guys how this tent goes up. It's nice and easy, nice and simple, pretty quick really. It's got a tent, room and a fly, which you guys will get to see, and I'll show you guys how the rest of this gear goes together. So first up here we have the tent. It's a cool bag, this one, roll top bag with compression straps around the side so you don't have to roll it up as tight every time, and the tent just slides in and out of the bag real easy. Something I got with this tent that I didn't get with the previous tent was a patch kit. So inside here I've got spare guy rope, spare material for the fly, the outer. I've got this little tube thing here. Oh yeah, spare piece for the poles, I guess, which is pretty cool. Oh, it's like a sleeve for the pole, I guess. Those poles are really nice and light, but that's a little patch kit that came in the bag. So this tent comes with these little straps to keep it together while it's in the bag, which is pretty cool. Such a lightweight tent. There's the back, so I'm going to unroll it from this end. So it's nice and long for myself. Pretty easy. So that red stuff you can see on the inside. So we've got our poles and our pegs. So in here you can see kind of this red material. That's the meshing, and the green stuff's the fly, or the waterproof layer. So this one I have to fold a little bit to get in its bag. But yeah, so down the foot end as well we've got a nice large vent that I can open up. I believe it's still closed at the moment. Oh wait, no, it is open. Oh, look at that, I slept on the weekend with that open in 5 degrees. So I'll put the poles in first, and then you guys can see how I peg it out. And I'll show you how the door opens. It's a cool door on this one. So the poles are coloured. So I have a red pole for the front, silver pole for the back. They just clip together nice and easy. I can find roughly the middle, clip them together, and they're set. This is the front pole. This is the back pole. If I fold the front open, you can kind of see. I'll have to do it from this side. So there's a sleeve here with red on the outside. So the red pole, or the larger pole, goes on the front. That just slides through. And on the other side we have, I can find it, a loop that this goes through, and a securing buckle. So I put that through the loop, feed the rest of the pole in, I have a corresponding loop on the front here. So it stands quite tall, this tent, which is nice for me. Good headroom. Put the rear pole in. Just put that rear pole in. So I just noticed as well the little clips for this are colour coded as well. So as well as the grey on this part to signify it, it's also got grey loops where it secures. So this tent's 2 poles, slightly different to most other tents I've had. Most other tents with the poles in them, you can't kind of concertina them up, quickly move them around. So what I was saying before is they've got the little loop here, and they've got a pull toggle to get the tent nice and secure onto the poles. So it's got that at the back and at the front. So you can tighten those buckles down a bit and get the tent nice and secured. So the good part about this being such a nice lightweight tent is I can pick this up and move it around as I please. I'm not going to set that up. Well, I am going to set that up, but I'm not going to set it up with the pole, the wood underneath it. So get off there. The next part we're going to use is the tent pegs. I've got some new tent pegs on the way because the ones that have come with this tent have already started bending and breaking. I've only used it, I've used it twice. This is the 3rd time setting it up. As well, so you can kind of see here, this one's bent a bit upwards. They're not supposed to be like that. One of these is bent out of square as well. There it is. That one you can see is kind of bent out of square. But it's nice and simple for me to set up this tent. Just grab the front loop, make sure I'm not securing the inside of the door part. The ground's nice and soft here because it's rained recently. But I can set this up in its basic form with kind of 2 pegs, well, 4 pegs I should say. So 4 pegs is the minimum I need to set up this tent. Because 4 pegs is just enough to hold it out. Just push that one in. So I've got plenty of points where we can put pegs in this tent. Just move this one a bit so I can get a bit of tension on it. So obviously we've got the 4 kind of corners that I've put them in. At the bottom of each ridge where the poles go in, there's a loop. And then there's 4 guy ropes as well that I can put a tent peg in. I'm not going to do it now because it's just a demonstration for you guys. But if I bring this camera around a bit, so this particular tent's really cool. This is the first one I've had that's an end opening tent. So this end actually completely opens up so I can get in and out of the tent. And it's a good annex area. I can kind of sit in it with it almost closed and be inside. And then the next little door here has 2 halves on the zip. Actually, it's 1 long zip, but 2 zipper toggles. And that makes it so that I can open up the entire end here. I've got a nice large open circle, nearly as big as the tent, that I can feed my gear through, and I can get in through. So that's the tent set up. It's a good tent, it's nice and warm. I can open up the vent down the end and keep the air vents open to keep it cool a bit. Because if I bring you guys around a bit, sorry about all the crap in the background. Yep. So I can be getting in and out of this tent through this end. So it's a nice long tent. I'm just over 6 feet tall, or I'm not 100% sure about how tall I am in feet, but I'm 184 centimeters I should say. And there's enough room for me on the ground of it. Plenty of room there. I can kind of curl my feet up in the mornings and I can come back out. I keep my shoes on and stuff while inside the annex, which is great. So having such a large opening on the tent's great. I quite like that. And it's long enough for my new air mattress and stuff, so I'll just find a bit of a better angle for you guys and I'll set up that air mattress. So obviously I told you guys the air mattress I got with the pump bag. Here it is. So it's an ultralight air mattress. It weighs ½ a kilo, but I got the thermally insulated one. It's probably more than ½ a kilo with the pump bag, but again, this comes with a little patch kit. I think there's 2 patches in there, I think, and that's just stays within its stuff sack, which is awesome. So I got the stuff sack there. This is their pump bag. It's actually quite a big bag. Plenty of room, so if you wanted to, you could actually pack in the stuff sack, I guess. Sorry, in the pump bag. it'll seal itself closed if you clip the buckle, which I'll show you. Comes with an elastic band to keep the mat closed, and it's a long mat, or fairly long mat. It's long enough for me, I should say. So, nice lightweight mat. On the back side of it, it's got a clip open piece, and I find that I can fill this pump bag easier the first time if it's not attached to the mat. Just put a bit of air in it, open up this little piece at the bottom, which if I just apply a little pressure here, it won't let the air out, and this clips on pretty firmly there. You probably heard the snap. And I just push the air out of this bag into the mattress. So the first one gets a bit of air in there. I don't use the clip all the time when I'm using the pump bag, but I can just kind of sit it open, roll the top over a couple of times, and then pump the air into the mattress. So it's about 3 or 4 times I normally do. Normally about 3.5 sackfuls of air from the pump sack. It depends on how full you get the pump sack. I'm using it without a breeze, so I'm not using a breeze to fill it up. There's 3. I can kind of put my hand flat, and if I do 4, you'll get to hear that it kind of stops pumping air in at a certain point. This is the 4th one, so this should be about where the air kind of stops pumping in. So you'll hear that there's no more air going into the mattress. It gets it nice and firm. I can push a bit more in if I wanted to, but I don't need to, because if you pump these air mattresses up too much, they'll kind of get used to it and burst. So now I can go and shake the air pump bag and bundle it up. So I can leave that bundled up while I'm camping. And now I've got my Alton air mattress all filled up, nice and comfy to lay on. Not too sure about the rocks and sticks right here, but under the tent they're nice. There's no sticks and rocks there. So next I'll get out my top quilt. I find it easier to put the top quilt attached to the mattress outside of the tent. So this bag's really good for this, I find, for the top quilt. This little stash bag. Plenty of room in it. I'll just use my my duffel bag here to put most of the quilt into when it comes out. There we go. So that's the bag. You can put that in a pocket in the tent or anything. So this is the -10 top quilt because I figured I may as well get the warmest one I can. And this top quilt actually comes with pad straps. So this will secure it to the sleeping pad while you're on the sleeping pad. So they're just little buckles that are plastic. I find they're not too hard to put on and off. So when I'm lining that up, I normally put around about the bottom of the quilt in line with the foot, roughly, and then I'll find the first strap and the second strap. So this one's got 2 pad straps. And then I'll put them around the mattress. So I could probably keep the pad straps with the mattress separately from the sleeping quilt if I was just to use it in the hammock. Or they come with a really nice stuff sack for when you're not using the quilt. Just get this last strap done up. And so that keeps it nicely secured. It's not going to fold or roll around on you. So now I normally just put it in. So I'll bring the camera over now so you guys can see that, like, there's a bit of room either side of the pad, and I've got room where the quilt is. So if I just put this over here for a sec, I can jump in. Keep some of the dirt out of the tent. So I've got enough room here now. To get into the quilt, I can either slide in from this end, or I can detach one side of the pad strap. So if I detach both pad straps on one side, it kind of flips open like a blanket. So I can have it flip open like a blanket over me. It's got a little foot pocket that I can put my feet in at the end and keep nice and warm. It's like 18, 20 degrees at the moment out here, so it's pretty warm still. And I've got this little neck loop that I can clip up around my neck, so if I'm sleeping away and it gets cold enough, I can clip up this, and then I've got elastic loops that I can tighten up and make it nice and warm, so I can tuck my arms in under, and it's like a little rummy bag, but it's not. But yeah, I find it's nice and warm. Not too hard to get the pad straps detached. But I certainly am looking forward to using this a bit more, especially now it's getting into winter. So this whole tent, sleeping mattress, and quilt, they're probably going to keep me warm down to -15. Well, probably not quite -15. The quilt's only rated to -10, but I have a feeling I'll still be pretty comfortable at -10. Especially since there's not a lot of volume to this tent to heat up. My previous tent was a 2-person tent. That was a lot more volume to heat up. But yeah, I quite like this new tent system I've got. I can even hook my glasses just outside the door. Door's pretty easy to use. So you can see there that it goes all the way around, so I've got it mosquito. This is no-see and mosquito netting, and then I can bring it back around and then open it up fully. But yeah, the mattress isn't too hard to deflate either, and the quilt obviously fits back in its stuff sacks. Today I'll be going back in its storage sack because I'm not going to use it for a little bit. But underneath the quilt, just kind of kneel either side of it, under the mattress I should say. So I've got that black piece that I open up and I can put the fill sack on, or I can press on the black piece in there. There's like a little tab there that I can press and that deflates it. So I push it in, you can hear that rush of air, and it just deflates now, so I can roll it back up, pack it up nicely. The tent's not too hard to roll up either, which is really good. I packed this whole thing up in like 10 minutes the other day. That was only about the second time I've used it all. So yeah, that's that's my new my tent gear. Looking forward to using it a bit more. You guys will probably see it next time we're out in the kayak or next time we're camping. This is kind of my tent now. One of my other mates, I'm giving my 4-person to because I don't use it, and he's going to use it a bit more than I do. But yeah, so I'll be sleeping in either this, the hammock, or the swag for the foreseeable time being. But I'll enjoy it. So I'll see you guys in the next one.